Hi, guys. Welcome to Coach's Coffee Talk. We are here today with the fabulous Coach Jen. You know her, you love her, and we have her here today to chat about a lot of things. And we really want to get into beyond exercise. And I want to tell you a little bit about Jen to start us off. She has been CrossFit HQ seminar staff forever, and she's just been a huge a source of support, inspiration for all of us. And, from starting with bodybuilding back in the day, right, Jen, and all the way to competitive CrossFit, she has seen it all. She has done so many amazing things and has such interesting stories to share. So we wanted to spend some quality time with her today. We're going to start off with CFGC news. Excited to bring you guys the news of the week. One piece of news that we wanted to share with you is that Coach Jorge is starting off very recently. He will be joining our local medical team here on Long Island as a nursing assistant, and he's really excited about that. So, Coach, we're proud of you. Good luck. Stay safe. All right. Let us know if you need anything. And Nate, what else we got?
All right, Caroline. Also happening at the gym coming up this month is the 6-week nutrition coaching program. Many of you have already gone through this and seen great success with Coach Heather. And if you haven't and you're interested in finding out more about that, or you're just ready to try it, you can certainly reach out to either Heather at CrossFitGardenCity.com and email her, or Coach Dennis at CrossFitGardenCity.com. Either one of them can answer your questions and get you signed up. The program is now open for enrollment, so definitely, if you're interested, go ahead and email one of those two and get in. Also, on that note, we have a 30-day challenge coming soon to you all. We don't have all the details to share with you just yet today, but they'll be posted on the CrossFit Garden City community Facebook page. So stay tuned to that to see what that's all about. And lastly here, big news actually just coming across the wire. Hunter Marshall is releasing his own YouTube channel starting this month. If you guys haven't already watched his content, it's hysterical. And as I saw Ralph post in the comments of the most recent workout brief, it's the only reason to watch any of the workout briefs is just for the guest appearance from either Hunter or Hope. Hope may not be eligible for the YouTube channel yet, as she's only 1 year old, not even.
Almost
look for her. Look for her channel to come in the future. Yeah, for certain.
She starts crawling. Get her up.
All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get into the topic of the day. And today we're actually talking, like Caroline said, beyond burpees and beyond fitness. We're going to discuss self-care at home, what that even is, how we can practice that, and some strategies that we can take besides just doing 100 workouts a day to get us through this quarantine. So I'm going to turn that over to Jen, and I'm going to let her go ahead and kind of introduce the topic and the subject matter, and then take it from there. So go ahead, Jen.
Okay. Well, I guess over the last 4 weeks, something that really struck me is it seems everybody, which is an easy way in, has been gravitating towards the fitness aspect of taking care of anxiety or fear they may be having around this whole quarantine pandemic. It's scary, and like keeping some sense of normalcy. So exercise is a way to kind of take you away from that. And one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is we could possibly be overdoing that end of it. So yes, exercise is important. We want to stay healthy and fit in that sense, but what else could we be doing to make sure we're taking care of the whole versus just that one part? So fitness is one aspect. I think there's a spiritual, emotional, and health, even though the fitness and health are related, but what's under the hood kind of thing versus just the outside that we need to look at in terms of nutrition. And so making sure that everybody is focusing on each of those components to some degree is going to be helpful as we come out of this. So that's one of the things I've been thinking on and working on. One of the things that we've introduced to CFGC, which is something we'll probably keep as we go forward, is yoga. So I did my 200-hour yoga training, teacher training in 2006, and started teaching yoga in 2007. Uh, Due to just the responsibilities of running a CrossFit gym and spending so much time in that realm over the years, other than my own private practice, I haven't been teaching as much. So a blessing, and I think there can be some from this quarantine time for me has been being able to share and give of my spirit the yoga that was such a huge healing um, uh, process for me when I first went through my teacher training. So we offer that on Sundays and on Thursdays at 9. And you can see the recordings anytime throughout the day. We save them most of the time when Coach Dennis remembers to record. Um, just threw under the bus a little bit. But I was like, that was a great class. What do you mean you forgot to record? But anyway, it's a way to release and like you really get in touch with yourself from the inside out on a spiritual level. But not too, I don't get too metaphysical. It's more like fun and just, a lot of levity to my classes, I think. But I think that's authentically a part of me that I want to share and kind of help people in that way. So you don't have to do burpees every day. You can, if it's not
Jen,
the
was that your first, if I could interrupt, was that your first experience with coaching a group of people? Or maybe not coaching, that's not the right word, but instructing?
No, actually, so my journey to becoming a yoga teacher is interesting. So I started, uh, I think 1997, I started teaching group exercise classes or started
Okay.
in the realm of fitness. I've been doing it a long time. Double
Yeah, tell us a
step.
little bit about that.
Yeah, I
97,
mean,
what was
I
going
was
on?
teaching Mad Dog Spin before there was Soul Cycle and all this other business. It was Mad Dog. So I did
Yeah.
spin classes that way where we had to make your own tapes. We had tapes. There
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
streaming. Yeah, and burned my own CDs for class. So yeah, I've been in the game a long time. But yoga was the last um, area of study that I went into only because I felt like it required you to be fully in, to be authentic. Like I didn't want to do the yoga training unless I fully embodied everything I felt like a yoga teacher should embody. Um, I guess for me, I felt like I couldn't be effective if I was just saying words and showing poses. It was more than that versus more than not to say that teaching double step was any less of a commitment, but there's something more involved I felt in being a yoga teacher and you're sharing that part of yourself. I could teach double step and nobody could know anything about what's going on in the inner workings of Jen. But I think in yoga to be effective as a teacher, you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable because you're sharing like your heart with everybody. And so it took me a while to come to that space. So from 1997 to 2006, it took me to feel comfortable enough to go through that process. And it was um, a, an amazing experience. I did that in Colorado. My training is core power yoga, and it's a vinyasa, which is like a power yoga. And I felt like that was the easiest way in for me because it was closer to like a physical, like lifting weights, and like it was hard from the outside. And then I was able to access the inside. And now my practice has kind of evolved into more of I do that, but also there's a gentler side to how I approach my teaching now. So a little bit kinder and gentler, Jen, after all these years. But yeah, that's the process. That's how I came to it. Um,
So prior to this past month, since you've picked it back up, when was the last time you taught a class?
mm. So a full class, it would probably be when I left New York Sports Club in 2011. I would say 2011 or
Okay.
12. Yeah, I think 2012. I left and I was full time at CrossFit Garden City because we opened in 2010. It's a big formal class. In between that time, I still had my own private practice for myself. And with my private clients, those that wanted it, I incorporated yoga, but it was on a one on one basis versus like a big group. And then I was
Mhm.
taking classes for my own outside of just practicing myself. I was taking classes here and there when I could just to keep up.
Got it.
keeping it. But that's it. So it's been a
Yeah,
while.
because I watched your first Zoom class that you did, your first
Ah,
yoga Zoom class,
huh?
and you were sharp. I mean, you didn't
Oh,
skip a
thank you.
beat, so I could tell you've been keeping up with it.
Oh yeah, I
Mhm.
was like, oh, so nervous. I was like, okay, there's a lot to remember with the flow, but it felt good, and it's been a
Yeah,
journey. So this is the fourth week I've been doing it, and I feel like I needed, I needed it. So Coach Des, I talk about like this time that we have. Everybody's anxious to get back to what was before, but it's almost like the universe is forcing everybody to take a break. Yes, it's going to be hard, and it is hard for some people more so than others. But if you have the opportunity to use this time for self reflection and growth, then you're going to be in a better space when we come out of this. Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be easy at all, but like, wow, to take a break, to spend all the time with my family. I always like wishing that I had time to do. Now you got it, or to read a book or pick up a new hobby. We got nothing but time. So if you don't do something during this time, it's not a matter of not having time, it's you're just not focused enough or you didn't really want to in the first place. One of those two things. So
this,
um
this might be
Well, the other thing
a
is, I
bit of a side note, but I think we had somebody ask last episode. Do you guys? Oh, let me finish, Caroline, and then I'll let you jump in. But do you guys have any book recommendations? Like, what are you reading right now? Somebody had asked. Like, what
uh,
book?
interesting enough, so I just finished. I have to write my response to it. So we're in a book club with CrossFit.com or the seminar staff. So just recently finished the Obesity Code, which is excellent. I recommend that for everyone. And I'm about to start Waterlogged. So right now, all of my books are science-y or nutrition, for the most part, based around nutrition, um, proper nutrition, and what works. But I highly recommend that book. And if you don't feel like reading,
Waterlogged is about overhydration, right?
I believe so. I haven't started yet. I just downloaded it, and I mean, just not downloaded, but what did I? What is it you do? I don't even know the term.
Audible.
It's Audible. I wish I had an Audible. I got to read this one. So at least an Audible, I can clean
Oh,
the
okay.
house, I can take care of kids, and I can listen. So this one, not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yeah,
highly recommend the Obesity Code.
all right. You guys, I'll put a link in the description of the YouTube video with all the books and like all the resources that we mentioned during the episode. So don't worry about
Okay.
that. Gotcha. Jen, I
Oh,
want to
cool.
touch on one thing you mentioned, which is about slowing down. So I think a lot of concerns that I've heard from athletes and just all members and people, everyone, is I'm going to lose my fitness. I'm going to lose muscle mass if I can't lift heavy. Like
Mhm.
there's concerns about that, and I think it's would you say it's an opportunity to, especially just taking yoga class. I can say that the feeling that you have at the end of class
Mhm.
is a more rejuvenating feeling. I feel energized after I've already been through an hour practice versus depleted or just like on my back, like just, spent.
Mhm.
Not to say that there's not benefit to that. That's why we love CrossFit and it's how we do
Right.
better. But this time almost seems like an opportunity for us to check in as to why we even do fitness in the first place.
Mhm.
Why are we doing it? How do you want to feel?
How do you want to feel, or like how much of anything do you need? Is there a better way to do it? Just because you've been smashing yourself into the ground 5 days a week, every week. Is there another way? And can you maintain that? I don't think anybody can. I've gone through ebbs and flows in my fitness through pregnancy, um, postpartum, injury, like where it's not what I thought it would be, and this is just like another season. But everybody's going through it, you know. Um, So versus look at it as what you can't do, what can you do right now? So I don't have any control over that. And I think yoga helps you with that mindset of being present. What happened in the past, that's done. I can't do anything with that. And the future, I can't worry about that because I don't know what that's going to be. What I have is right now. What can I do? Yeah, one piece of equipment. Okay, I can do those workouts. I can do yoga. I can work on myself, um, and figure out maybe there's a better way to do what I have been doing, which will allow me to get even better results if that's what it is. I think it's an awesome time for self reflection and figure out what it is that you really need versus like what you want. I guess is a for lack of a better way. I know it's kind of long winded, but it's something I don't know, but it's something I'm working on myself, trying to figure that out. And I want to lift heavy too. I love me some barbell, y'all. But what can I do? I can work on my nutrition, eat better, sleep better, spend more time working on my mental game, and I find that that's been helping me a lot more than worried about picking up some heavy weight.
So that's a perfect segue into our featured member question of the day, right, Nate? We have a question from Jess
Oh yes, Miss Jess.
Bizzle.
Shout out.
Jess Bizzle. So Jess Bizzle's question, and I may not be reciting this exactly as she asked it, but essentially, she had said something along the lines or to the effect of, "How do you now?" This is going back to our normal, or I should say, maybe our past normal of the CrossFit group setting and the class setting when we're working out, and how do you avoid maybe comparing yourself to others or getting nervous about your performance versus someone else? And what kind of strategies can you do to combat that? Is that roughly what you remember her asking, Caroline? Okay, yeah. So I mean, do you have anything that you've done in the past? I mean, you've been a competitive athlete at the highest level in CrossFit. Maybe what sort of strategies did you have when you came up to the starting line, if you will, and were concerned about the girl to your left, to your right, or how you were going to perform?
Well, I guess when it gets to competition day, I can't be worried about them. It's too late then. What I got is what I got, and I just got to do what I can do. I think it's after when I reflect, oh, that person performed better than me on that, or this person did better than me on that. Maybe look at what I did good at, and then I go back, or not go back, but going forward, I work on those things. So in the moment, I can't be too concerned about that because everybody is where they are based on what they did to get to that point. But then I take a look around, and it's not always easy. I still suffer from that. I'm like, oh, that person's taller than me. I can't do anything about that, I'm sure. But but I got to go back and like
Heels, higher heels.
different parents, taller parents, but just I can't change that. But that's a gross example what I'm talking about. I can't, you get into it's self-defeating, and I think it's not healthy for us to continually compare ourselves to others. We're all different, which makes it beautiful. But if you're looking to improve yourself in a good way, then you take those gifts or whatever you're looking at in the other person. How did they get there? Okay, maybe I can incorporate that into what I'm doing if that's important to me. If not, then all I have control over is myself. And if I'm happy with that. My my height. Good things come in small packages. Then I'm going to live with that, and that's okay. But when you get dissatisfied with where you are, that's when you make a move to do something. But you make sure you're doing it for yourself and not for somebody else. And that's it.
I think that's really well said. And I think, too, I just thought I might add for Jess, in CrossFit specifically, and I'm drawing from my college soccer days. So I had to spend in high school, I spent a ton of time in ID camps. So when you want colleges to look at you, or training camps where I was a goalkeeper. So what I had to do is I would be pit against other goalkeepers in real time, and you have scouts looking at you. And if there's a time to perform, it's then. So and I remember what used to help me then, and I think you can apply it to CrossFit now, is if you really want to improve specific things and avoid the comparison game, all you have to do is, if you're lucky enough to find a training partner who's just a little bit better than you, or maybe you have something you're better at than them, or they have something they're better at than you, training partners help us bring up our weak points a lot. So I had goalkeepers that I would trained with who were maybe I was quicker than them, but maybe they were better at, overhead tips than I was. And I would train with that person to try and get better at the thing that I was weaker in. The other thing you can do is to help avoid the comparison is zero in on your own skills. So by filming yourself. So, Jess, if you are worried about how fast you're cycling the barbell, your double unders or anything, film yourself and then maybe watch film or watch someone else who's getting faster times than you and see what strategy they're using for whatever the movement is. So there are little things that are productive tools that you can use to get better at XYZ versus, and that's very different than kind of getting inside your head. It's the non-productive version of comparison, which is just the general broad sweeping, I suck and they're better than me at or whatever. Just try to get the more specific you can get, the healthier usually, or I don't want to say healthy, but just it's less stress mentally. The idea of trying to improve. And that's something that's helped me over the years in competitive situations. And that might be something you want to try. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think so. Or you think like this, I remember somebody mentioning, it was like a poem, I think, years ago. You may be looking up to somebody else, looking at like, I'm not there, they're better than me. But there's somebody below you looking at you in that same way. And that put it in like perspective. You're like, oh, okay. Like, because it can feel like I'm on the bottom, but somebody else is like looking at you like, I wish I was you. And then you're like, whoa. So everybody's got to just be comfortable being themselves where they are, work towards self-improvement as related to just yourself. Yes, it's nice to have something to chase. I'm not saying that we're not going to ever, we're human beings. I think by nature, we want to like be the best, or you look in terms of comparing, but a healthy approach, like you said, either those tangible steps, but always like turning it towards self first versus something external. And that you're not alone. Like I think people can feel alone in that I'm here and this person's there, but there's somebody else that's feeling exactly like you or looking at you as being the person that they want to be like. So that helps keep it in perspective for me. I get into like when I like, oh, I'm not back to where I used to be. There's somebody wishing they could be like just where I am now, let alone like where I was back then. I'm like, wow, that doesn't discount my feelings because that's how I feel. But it just kind of helps me keep things in perspective when I get like a little nutty about certain things, which happens. I'm human. I admit that. I struggle with these things just like everybody, but I try to keep some type of perspective. And Coach Dennis is very good for helping me do that.
And Jen, I can speak firsthand, or maybe it's not firsthand, but I've worked with women who have come through the gym doors and said the reason I'm here is because I see Coach Jen coming back from her pregnancy, and that's what I want to strive to be. I'm serious. I can think of at least 2 or 3 women off the top of my head who that's what they've said. So it's true. I mean, you feel like you're not at the level you were, but people are looking at you and saying, I want to be like her now.
Yeah. And it's very important the language that you use, like around, because I guess another way of saying it is you're somebody's role model.
Exactly.
You don't know you may never know who that person is, but if you're putting yourself out there in such a way as a coach, as an influencer or something, I think like you have to be very honest, yes, but recognize that somebody's looking up to you and how you carry yourself and the language that you use around that. Remember who's listening and what they're going through. So, well, thank you for sharing that, Nate. That's like cool.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So try.
All right. So what do you say we wrap this up? We'll finish it out with our round of burning questions again.
Okay.
And I feel like I'll set a timer just like we tried to last week and see how that works out.
Okay.
I'm just gonna direct them towards you. You're our guest, so you get to answer the questions.
Okay.
And we'll just listen in. All right. So the way this works again is I ask a question. Yeah, we'll go for 60 seconds. We'll see how many we can get.
Gotcha.
I'll ask the question, and you'll either answer or fill in the blank if it happens to be one of those. But all right, here we go. Let me get the clock started and get my list ready here. All right, you ready?
Up ready. Okay.
Stretch it out, warm it up here. All right, you
There
go.
you
Here we go. Give us a 3-second countdown. 3, 2, 1, and begin.
go. Okay.
Number 1, who was your first celebrity crush?
Ooh, celebrity crush. Richard, what was that show? Oh, shoot. Rick, I forget. Richie Rich, I'll say. Richie Rich.
Rich. All right, next. What's the weirdest thing you've done to make money?
The
Keep
weirdest,
it appropriate.
weirdest thing to do, make money. Oh, my abs were in an infomercial once. Just my abs.
Oh my God. All right. Also on that same topic, what do you spend too much money on?
Shoes.
Shoes. Good one. Someone you'd like to be stuck in an elevator with?
Dennis.
Good answer. Me too. Next, your favorite G-rated curse word. G-rated. Kids friendly.
HE double hockey sticks.
Oh, good one. All right, we got time for one more. The a reality show you would love to be on.
She was on a show.
Yeah, you've been on a couple here.
I've been on a couple. Reality show. I love the Housewives of CrossFit.
Oh my God.
They don't have that one yet, do they? All right, they gotta get that one
They
going.
got some go. All right.
Yeah. All right, that's time. We're gonna call it there today. No more overtime on this.
Oh, shiitake mushroom. That's another one.
That is a good G-rated.
That's a good one. Good one. All right. Silver spoon.
All right.
Silver spoon.
So
all right.
that does it for our second edition of Coach's Coffee Talk.
Okay.
Caroline, do you want to close it out for us and maybe kind of tell people what to look forward to next week?
Yes. So, first of all, we need to thank Coach Jen. Thank you, Coach Jen.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Pasture Garden City Coach's Coffee Talk would also like to thank our official sponsors, Charmin Toilet Paper, for helping us.
Wow.
Yeah. You guys really coming
I did forget to mention this at the beginning of the show, that this episode is brought to you by Charmin, the coach's choice for toilet paper, irresistibly soft.
And mega roll. Okay.
Charmin. And next week, you guys, we're going to have more guests, okay? More exciting guests, and we are going to continue the theme of spreading good news, CFGC news. So keep chiming in with your good news and let us know what's going on with you guys. If you have questions and you want to be featured on the show, let us know. In the meantime, stay safe, have fun, keep getting, sweaty, keep working out, and join Jen's yoga class. Don't miss it, all right? I promise.
Space or anything else. All right.
Tell us the days on that again, Jen.
Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and Thursday morning at 9 a.m.
All right.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now.
All right. Namaste, everybody.
Joining us. I'll see you guys later. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Cheers.